Here we go. Hello, Alright, hello everybody. I am back with another book review. I am here to review Orbiting Jupiter by Gary D. Schmidt, and he's one of my favorite authors. He writes amazing books. Like the books are great, right? Like there's the Wednesday Wars. What's the other one? The sequel to Wednesday Wars. Okay, for now was it? And then there's Orbiting Jupiter. This book was good. Here's the book blurb. When Jack meets his new foster brother, he already knows 3 things about him. Joseph almost killed a teacher. He was incarcerated at a place called Stone Mountain. He has a daughter. Her name is Jupiter, and he has never seen her. What Jack doesn't know at first is how desperate Joseph is to find his baby girl, or how urgently he, Jack, will want help. But the past can't be shaken off, even as new bonds form, old wounds reopen, and the search for Jupiter demands more from Jack than he can imagine. So, yeah. Now, in this video, there's a picture of it, so it's not going to be made for kids, by the way. Just remember that. So, this book is it's mature. I won't recommend this to a little kid, but 7th and 8th graders, I feel like yes, this would actually be a good read. Anyway, there's some. So, as you heard, so this kid who's in 6th grade gets an 8th grade foster brother whose name is Joseph. The 6th grader's name is Jack. And hold on 1 second. Sorry about that. Anyway, and the 6th grader's name is Jack, and like Joseph has this big backstory that I'm not going to exactly go into, but he has the backstory includes him actually ending up getting a baby girl, baby daughter, when he's like 15 or 14 or something. 14 or 15 anyway. And because of that, he actually goes to a place called Stone Mountain, and when he came back from Stone Mountain, he wouldn't let anybody stand behind him. So it doesn't straight out say what happens in the book to Joseph. I had Joseph at Stone Mountain, but it's heavily implied, and you can influence it. I'm going to give you 3 reasons of why you should read this book. 1, it's very emotional. It's amazing in the emotions that it tugs on your heartstrings. You think it's nice, fun, and you'll end up feeling bad for these characters. Gosh, hold on. It's very emotional. It's very emotional. It's amazing. It tugs on your heartstrings in just the right way. It makes you happy. It tugs on your heartstrings, and the ending was. It left questions unanswered, but questions that that it's fine without the answers. Not questions like you'll be disturbed if you know the answer, but questions like if you knew the answer, ruin it. Not big questions. It's kind of hard for me to describe, but it's perfectly written. And second reason you should read it is that it touches on it's very nice. The characters are great. Characters are just great. It's nice overall. The characters are nice. They're complex. They're nice. There's many different like points of conflict, and it all works out in the end. All these points of conflict, they all get reviewed, solved. It's like different points, but they're very good. Third reason you should read this is because, well, just because like tragic, and it's by Gary D. Schmidt, and Gary D. Schmidt's books are always they're always amazing. The ending was amazing, and like every part, every chapter was amazing. But now that I've listed out good things, I've listed out the bad things because almost everything has bad. There's one bad thing about everything. So sorry. Basically, what I'm going about is that it felt a little rushed. It felt like it wasn't the best Gary D. Schmidt book I've ever read. It felt like things happened for no reason. It felt like, which did make it good, but also made it bad. It was like I wasn't exactly 100% satisfied with every chapter because there wasn't really too many conflicts that looked like overwhelming since there were multiple conflicts. It was written differently. It was good, but like all Gary D. Schmidt books have one big thing. There's many different conflicts, and then there's one big overarching conflict, and all these little conflicts kind of hang off of that conflict, and then all these little conflicts get chopped off. Their strings get cut, they fall to the ground. The little conflicts are all done. But then there's the big conflict, and usually the big conflict already has kind of been resolved a little bit. But then there's the conflict at the end of the big overarching conflict at the end, which gets its own little spot, like on the ground, just a circle. And like that one big thing is the conflict that can either make or break the characters. Look. One big conflict that gets resolved a good way or a bad way. I don't want to spoil the book too much. I really suggest that you read it for yourself. If you actually did read Okay for Now by Gary D. Schmidt, and then you read this book, I suggest that you read The Wednesday Wars before this, and Okay for Now, and The Wednesday Wars and Okay for Now, since those two things, and then Okay, but especially Okay for Now. Like, if you read that book, then you're gonna catch something in this book. The book is really nice. It's always that one character that has it. It felt like a lot of the other Gary D. Schmidt books, but I can never really complain about a Gary D. Schmidt book. It's gonna follow the kind of same formula. It's a good formula. So, yeah. Anyway. Another thing is that, so again, I understand why, but there weren't too many things that I could exactly complain about. Just in my opinion, the ending was a bit too tragic for me. It's a bit different than the other. I'm not crying, by the way. It was a bit different than his other endings of the. So, it was a bit different than the endings in his other books, but I really like it. It's really good. I suggest you read Orbiting Jupiter. It's very nice. Just check it out. Watch it. Yeah, just check it out. Alright, anyway, like, subscribe, and I'll be maybe posting another video. I don't know, like, probably an update for what I'm planning to do. channel. And I fit 10 minutes. Goodbye, everybody.